So guys, I've had the Chevy Volt for a few months now. We have about 4,000 miles on it, as you can see right there. I'm actually super stoked. This is like my gateway drug to the Tesla or some other fully electric vehicle. I think right now, I really do love the gas and electric abilities of the Volt. The electric aspect is great for me getting to work in the morning. I get perfect, like great miles per gallon when I'm just driving stop to go traffic on the way to work. I get like 100 plus mpge, but there's a downside, and I want to kind of show you what happens when you drive on the interstate. So when you drive on the interstate using the electric of this car, it really reduces the range, especially if you live in an area like me where you drive like 80 miles an hour. So the range right now, you can see, is 59. And that 59, it predicts the range every time based on your previous driving habits. So first we're just going to drive around a little bit to get some coffee, and then we're going to go on the interstate just to see how much lower we can get this MPGE down. And also guys, I drive in L mode all of the time. So what that means, when I let off the gas, it kind of brakes more aggressively than if I had it in drive mode. So you can kind of see the power that's being used by the car right now is 5 kilowatts. When I let off the gas, you can see that it's like negative, so it's regenerating. So it's bad to drive and vlog at the same time, so I'm gonna put you guys down, I'm gonna get some coffee, and then we're gonna go on the interstate to see how much worse the MPG is going on the interstate. So guys, I drove 4.7 miles to get here to Starbucks. You can see my MPGE is 149. And my EV range didn't even change. It's still 58. I'm pretty sure that's what it was when I left the house. So what that means, I drove so carefully that the miles per gallon did not change. So probably the next time I get in the car, the MPG estimated range will go higher. But the downside of the Volt, when we get on the interstate, I want to show you what this MPGE range goes to. It goes to absolute shit. Okay, we are at 54 miles of range. We're at 130 miles per gallon. We're gonna see what happens when we get on the highway. So I've gone 4.5 miles. The MPGE has gone down to 95 miles per gallon MPGE. We've gone 4.6 miles. You see the range is 37. So 4.7 miles ago, we were at 55 miles, I believe. So you can see how much the range goes down. And you can see the adaptive cruise control is working perfectly because I'm coming next to a car and it's slowing down, so that's good. So we've gone about 10 miles. We went from the range of 55 estimated to 26 in 10 miles, where it should be from 55 to 44. You can see that the MPGE is now 88 miles per gallon, down from about 130. So I'm turning around on the interstate. So we're at 22 mile range after driving 13.5 miles. Okay, so it literally just switched to gas. We're at 0 electric range. You can see we went about 30 miles. So I love the efficiency of this vehicle. I typically get like 100 to 150 mpge on a typical basis, like when I'm driving to work. I love using electric. Like, I love how you get the instant torque. I love how it's quiet. If you don't have the air conditioner on, you don't hear anything. It's crazy. But there's one downside to this car. So when you get this car, you have this mindset that you're going to get about like 50 to 60 miles of electric range, like no matter what. That's just kind of in your mind. So, you know, if your commute to work is like 50 miles, you would think that you would, you know, get to work and back no problem on the battery. Some cases that is true, but for me in Florida on the interstate, if I were to drive, the range goes down so much. So whereas like just in stop and go traffic, like, you know, going like 45, 55 miles an hour, where I typically get a range of like 130 miles per gallon equivalent, on the highway, it's like 80 or less. So the thing is, on the highway, when you go high speeds, it's really bad for the efficiency of your battery. And then also, too, you're not really stopping. So in an electric vehicle, when you stop, it produces energy, goes back into the battery, and makes your car more efficient. When you're on the highway, you're just going at constant speeds, so your miles per gallon rating just goes down. So that's why hybrid vehicles typically get better ratings in the city, because it works with the battery. So electric vehicles are the same way as far as efficiency. If I had just a normal gas-powered vehicle, yes, it would get worse range going like 80 miles an hour constantly versus like 60. But in comparison to an electric vehicle, I believe the range is that much worse in electric mode. So luckily the Chevy Volt, it does kick into gas power mode once the electricity is completely used up. But then, of course, in gas powered mode, your efficiency goes down even lower. So on the interstate, where I would get 80 miles per gallon equivalent, if I'm using the gas, I get about 35. Now, if I'm driving in town, it's much more efficient using gas. I get about 60 miles per gallon equivalent. But when you compare it to like the 150 I would get on the battery, it's a big difference. So, yes, people that have fully electric vehicles have the same problem. Like, I'm sure Tesla owners that have the 300-mile battery range can maybe go like 250, 220 miles, somewhere around there. I don't know. But the fact that the Chevy Volt, the battery range isn't that much in comparison to, like 200 or 300 miles, like you definitely notice it a lot quicker. So luckily this car does have hold mode, so you can change it to use gas whenever you want. So if I know I'm going to be driving towards the highway, I'll keep it on electricity. And then once I get on the highway, turn it to gas. And then once I get back off the interstate, turn it back to EV mode. So you can kind of like use the gas and the electric to your advantage. But just keep it in mind, guys, that if you do plan on using this car as your daily driver and you have to get on the interstate and you thought 25 miles there and back on the interstate, you'd be, fine using the battery, it's not going to be the case. It's way less efficient going fast on the interstate versus stop and go traffic where you use less power driving slower, and then also you don't regenerate any extra power. But that's all I gotta say about that, guys. Just a simple video. I'm really loving the Chevy Volt. Not really much to say other than that. After this many months of ownership, this is my only complaint, really. I really wish the Volt maybe had 100 miles of range. That way, when I go on the interstate, I could maybe go 65-ish miles without a problem. Right now, my commute to work, it's not on the interstate at all, so I have no problem using the battery only, and the range is great. But yeah, guys, that's all I got to say about that. Hopefully you have a great day. One day I will get a fully electric vehicle, but right now, just the way, as you can see, battery technology is, it's not as efficient on the interstate. So if I buy a Tesla and the range is 300 miles on the interstate, it definitely would not be 300 miles. I'm waiting until we can get cars closer to 400 and 500 miles of range before I really start considering a full electric vehicle. I know the day's coming. For now, I'm going to use my Volt. Have a great day, guys. See you later. Bye.